There is another variable here, which is the height. Welcome to Tiafo Garage, where we try it and find out. On this channel, we feature DIY on some classic cars. We also chronicle the classic car ownership experience here in the San Francisco Bay Area in California.
Tiafo Garage.
Welcome to Tiafo Garage. We are today looking to install a replacement latch for the 911 here. There is known issue where they get loose. When I first got this car, it had a fiberglass hood. It's now in the basement. It actually had the straps. Again, 2 straps locations. So I replaced that with an original metal hood that I still need to have painted. This is the original, I believe the original looks like, hood latch mechanism. I ordered this replacement. That metal there is worn. When I got this car, it had this. It did not have this, so I bought that. That's new. So it should have sharp edges for catching on the hole. That's the way that works. It goes in the hole. That surface, this is where it actually latches in. It's annoying. When I'm on the freeway, the hood pops open and then air actually goes up and goes through my speaker because of the positive pressure in the trunk. And I took the 3 bolts out just to show there's a little screw there for the wire that operates the release mechanism. And I had tried adjusting that. We'll take that out and remove this entirely and then hook it all up to this guy, which has its own little screw. I thought I would show what I think is going on here. So this is where the puller pulls, and on that surface where the latch grabs, you can see it's kind of worn and even ramped a little bit. I think that's why it's pulling out. You can see some evidence of witness marks of it, you know, kind of rubbing loose or whatever. This guy, same design. It has a nice sharp edge, at least now that it's new. So we'll see whether this makes for a better latch. And then, so what happens here is when it's pulled, you kind of want it default in this state, and you set the tension, and then when you pull it, it frees it up. I'm a little nervous because if you set it wrong and you latch it and you try to pull it, it doesn't free up. You're kind of like stuck with a closed hood, which is my worst fear at the moment. I've got the new latch in, and I'm gonna use this phone to make sure that when I pull the hood release, that thing completely clears the hole. I put a little lubricant in there just to be safe. One thing I noticed now is if I push it back, which is what's gonna happen when the pin goes in, it stays back unless I sort of pull on the cable. So that tells me that I want the cable to have a little bit of tension. So I'm gonna go back here and add a little bit more tension to that. Just to share a bit of the how, so I pulled it out with this and then I put the vice grips on there and I hold it in that position I want it. Now I'm gonna go tighten the screw. I adjusted the cable pull position. There's more metal showing there, you can see. And now it does return nicely. When I push on it, it comes right back. Now I need to do the test and make sure I get the full hole again. Heading back to the car. Should be completely open. So the other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that that pin was pretty much lined up with that hole. It looks pretty centered. If anything, maybe biased a little to the left. The light was a little bit too far this way, so I'm going to loosen these guys and scooch it over that way. There is another variable here, which is the height. You can adjust that with this nut. You know, loosen that nut, unscrew or screw in this shaft, and then tighten that nut. All right, I extended this by unscrewing this, well, for loosening the jam nut, unscrewing it here, tightening the jam nut. So now it should be quite a bit lower than what it needs to be, which means it'll latch high, which means it will latch without any load on this, which is what we want. We are going to try closing it. Okay. Oh wait, no, that's the safety catch. Okay, that is latched, high. We got some 1/4 inch here or whatever. So now let's try to unlatch it. It does not pop up. At least it's holding secure. Oh, now it's latched. Okay. I'm gonna need the help of my happening here? Part of what might be going on is this, to me, doesn't look quite parallel. It looks like, to me, it's angled like this way a little bit. By the time this latch gets in that hole, it's kind of diagonal. So this might be a clue. It does look like it's sort of, bent more inward. At least, kind of, to me. Hard to tell in the video, but I think it might be biased in towards the car, towards the back of the car. So we're going to try to bias it towards the front of the car and see if that gets rid of that intermediate catch. So to recap on this whole latch situation on the Porsche, things I learned are, A, it's very sensitive to the location of this pin with respect to the orientation of the hole. That means both the height, which you should try to get close to the final, close-ish to the final position, because as this extends, it makes the arc that travels as you close it greater or more variable or more sensitive to if this isn't straight or whatever. And the failure mode, as you're going through it, is that that latch where it hooks onto the hole can grab the outer ring here if it's not aligned just right. And then also getting the tension such that the moving part self-returns. I think those are the main things, and you can adjust the position of this up and down, left and right with these fasteners, and the height, of course, and try to get it all dialed in such that it latches repeatably and unlatches and pops up freely, which, as you saw, took a lot of iterations. Oh, one other thing, you should always keep the original parts. I am definitely holding on to this. I may at some point actually try to take the mechanism out of that and stick it in here so that we can keep that original. It's always nice to have original parts. We'll save that for another day. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you enjoy this type of content, please do like, share, and subscribe. It will help the channel, and we will see you next time on Tiafo Garage.